Hi everybody, welcome to the first Q&A session here on Unleash Love. We're going to take questions from Quora that are directed to myself, and I'm going to give my answer here on video so that I can help more people even who aren't using Quora. So, what's the question for today? Someone asked me, actually I'll get the name of the person because why not? May Huizil, I hope I pronounced that correctly, asked me on Quora recently, my partner is dealing with extremely low self-esteem. What can I do to help her and teach her self-love? May, I've been here before. This is something I'm intimately knowledgeable with. I was in a number of relationships where there was a lack of definitely self-esteem, confidence, ambition, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's tricky, it's tough, it's hard to navigate. I think that, it's worth mentioning what kind of relationship challenges come with someone with a low self-esteem. Reduced ability to socialize, jealousy, lack of ambition, and ultimately that could translate into things like less wealth, material wealth, less freedom to do the things you want to do outside of your professional life. There's a lot of kind of baggage that comes along when you have a lack of self-esteem. Self-esteem, confidence is something that kind of gets you a lot in life, let's be honest, right? And there are more confident people than others. I would say confidence doesn't mean that you know what you're doing, but it definitely helps to make people feel comfortable around you, to give you a chance to take the opportunity to have the promotion, to guide and lead people, right? To sell to people, sell ideas, sell products, sell services, whatever it is. So confidence is essential in today's society. And I think that, let's address what can be done on the individual side, right? So that you can kind of like have an idea of, well, if I'm a partner, how am I going to guide my other half to getting more confident, having more ambition and esteem? We can identify what the causes of the negative self-beliefs are. So we could try to find that out through counseling or therapy, right? You could see someone who's a professional at uncovering the layers and layers of unconscious kind of programming that may be responsible for the lack of confidence. Pursue personal development, self-development, right? So there's a lot of books, there's a lot of videos, podcasts. There are a lot of people out there who create content like this, right? That helps you to become a better person, become more effective as a human. And there's some amazing books out there that I read when I was much younger that gave me a lot of strength to be able to go after my dreams and kind of achieve my goals and all that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend that. That's actually essential. I think counseling and therapy helps a lot, but you must get into the situation where you're taking your own initiative to solve your own problems. That's confidence right there. Spiritual practices are also worth mentioning here. I think a lot of people find confidence and power you could argue would be an external source coming from God or whatever, but I would say no. What I mean is an internal source of just oneness. And we're really getting into the spiritual realm here, so I'm going to stop there. But I think that those three things, counseling and therapy, personal development or self-care, and also like a greater connection with the divine, right, would be top three things I could recommend to kind of coming to terms with what's causing these negative self-beliefs. What else can we do? We can rewire our narrative. What does that mean? It means we have this idea of ourselves and we reinforce it every day through our actions. We say things, we do things, we behave in a way that kind of keeps that narrative going. So if we don't think that we are enough, if we don't think we're confident, if we don't think that we're good looking, we're desirable, whatever, then our behaviors will manifest in order to match that belief pattern, right? So how do we change the narrative? How do we rewrite the narrative? Well, you could first of all start to look at things that you're grateful for, right? I mean, essentially, gratitude is just recognizing that you have already got an amazing life. You have already got amazing opportunity. You have already got this, that, the other. Like, you've got your health, your limbs, you've got family, you've got friends, you've got skills, talents. You have the ability to talk. I mean, you can go from a macro level right down to a micro level and just outline all the things in your life that's worth living for. That's where, I know we're not talking about suicide or anything here, but we're starting to build a frame, a structure on which you can build confidence. Because if you know that you have a great family, if you know that you've got great friends, if you know that you've been through situations before in life where you had tremendous challenges and you overcame those situations or those challenges and kind of came through those situations, then you are already going to be building on your confidence. You know that you can do this. You know you've got the resources to do whatever you want in life. People are going to have your back, right? So let's start to look at what we're grateful for. Who are your role models? That's another thing. My role models really help me get through the harder times in life. They help me transform the way that I think about myself, the way that I think about life and the universe, all of the rules and things that possibly aren't exactly real that I had created around my actions. I wasn't doing everything I wanted to do because I felt like I couldn't. So role models are great because they're the people who are already where you want to be. They already have achieved the things you want to achieve, and therefore there's a plan. They've kind of given you a framework somehow from their journey for you to get there. You just have to learn what they did or study what they did and then implement. So role models are great. What about your passions? Thinking about your passions in life. Passions are things that once we find them, we become addicted to them. We become almost obsessive about them. And confidence, when you're talking about a passion, confidence just comes naturally. It's like, okay, I mean, I want to help people, you know, I create these videos. And to make a video like this, you have to get in front of the camera and you have to talk for a while, and it might seem like I don't know what I want to say, or maybe people think it's stupid what I'm saying. But the thing is, I'm passionate about this, and I feel like if I wasn't passionate about doing these things, it would be much harder for me to do them. So passion is an important thing. You don't have to leave your job. You don't have to leave your partner, right? If you're not passionate about the relationship, but you can reframe how you see what it is you're doing or you're involved with so that you can get passion from it. And I've done this a number of times. Like, I've been involved in relationships and businesses where, maybe the fire was dying or it wasn't even there in the first place. And if you are mature enough, and if you're able to just give yourself some space and time, you can cultivate a feeling of passion and excitement and interest that will somehow translate into having a bit more ambition and drive and confidence. So, rewriting your narrative is really an important part of that journey. How about this as well? Okay, I'm going to say something super important here. It's kind of like a last but not least, but start small and build upwards. Start small and build upwards. Take small baby steps, okay? Figure out what you want to do. Figure out what your plan is. Now, I talked about a few things to spark some fire in you. Maybe you're going to read some personal development books. Maybe you're going to make some new friends who are very supportive and encouraging. Maybe you're going to check out who your role models are, right? What are your passions? And then once you know where you want to go, or you've got an idea of what you want to do in life, because you've got low self-esteem, right? You don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning, perhaps. Once you kind of hone in on an objective, like maybe I want to start a business, maybe I want to learn how to do accounting, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. It doesn't matter. It could be anything, all right? As long as it's a job, as long as it's a objective rather, then there are going to be steps to get there. And so find out what your objective is, what you want to do, and and then start to figure out what the plan is to get there. And with the role model, it could be pretty simple. Maybe they've made an autobiography. Maybe you've read Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, and it's very good because they give you the different steps that they had to go through to get to where they are now. I mean, just that one example, he's achieved so much in his life, and he really boils it down to discipline. He boils it down to reps and sets is what he calls it, right? Like in bodybuilding, everything he did was reps and sets. He would say, if I needed to learn how to do real estate, it would really just be a question of, well, reading the books. I'm going to read these books every week, right? It's like reps and then sets. So he's just kind of like challenging himself to be consistent and to always continue to grow. And so with role models, it's pretty simple to find out what your kind of plan would be to get to where you want to go. Maybe your friend has opened a business and you can talk to them and they can tell you how they did it, right? So there's loads of different ways that you could become a little bit more objective oriented and make a plan or plans to get to where you want to go, okay? And start small. Just break it down into small bits. What I've noticed is, even in relationships, when there's a plan that's too big, it's too difficult to envision everything involved in that plan, and you put that pressure on you, like I've got to get from here, A to Z, it's so overwhelming. It can overwhelm someone to the point where they don't want to do it anymore, okay? You don't want to do that. Just start small. What else? Well, taking the first step. Taking the first step is key. So you've made this plan, everything's all sorted, and now you've got analysis paralysis. Now you don't feel like you want to actually move in that direction. You're starting to lose your taste for it. Maybe my life's going to change too much. Maybe I'm going to be uncomfortable. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to be ridiculed for trying and failing. I mean, these are all legitimate thoughts. Everyone has these, right? I mean, even to the point where you could call it imposter syndrome. I mean, even the highest performing people on the planet have imposter syndrome, which is like, maybe they'll find out that I have no idea what I'm talking about. These are all legitimate kind of worries. Just trust me, take the first step. The first step's the most important. It lays the path for the following steps. It's starting to build up momentum. Once you do the first step, do the second step. What personal trainers say, right, is if you want to build your body, if you want to become more fit, you just don't think about going to the gym for an hour, go to the gym for 5 minutes. Just walk in the door. That's it. That's all they say, right? They say, get yourself to the gym, go in and see how you feel. And once you get to the gym and you walk inside, you're not going to go home, right? You're going to be like, well, let's see what we can do. And you're going to pick up a piece of iron, right? And you're going to start to. So do the same thing with your personal goals. Don't give yourself the impossible kind of goal of achieving all of that plan within, the first movement. You have to start somewhere. And then be accountable, okay? Find some way to keep yourself on track. Your partner, who maybe is going to be helping you in this, is going to be able to be that person and is responsible and orderly enough to kind of follow what you're trying to do and then keep you on track by reminding you, hey, is this what you really want? Do you want to be playing on the PS4 right now? Or do you actually want to be doing something toward achieving your goal? What's more important to you? Let's be honest. That's the kind of person you want to be around. If your partner isn't that person, then sorry, maybe you're gonna have to find that from someone else. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe you don't want to bother them with that. But you can look for people who can be accountability partners. I used to have an accountability partner, more than one. I used to be in a group of people. I had my own accountability groups on WhatsApp. Just find people who are excited for you and for themselves to be able to kind of share the things that they're doing on a daily basis and say, I managed to complete all my tasks yesterday. I'm going to set myself these tasks today, and then I'm going to go ahead and do them. And I promise you, if you do that, you will begin to build new habits, new habits that are going to push you away from low self-esteem, and they're going to start to develop confidence. Because you know what? Once you can prove to yourself that you can do what you say you're going to do, that is building confidence. Doing the hard things that you thought you could never do, and realizing that they were not as hard as you thought they were, that is confidence. So be accountable. Now, I didn't really answer the question properly because I answered it from the perspective of the person who has the low self-esteem. But if I was going to answer the question properly from the perspective of the partner, okay, I would say this. You mean well, and you can do some things to affect them and give them more confidence, perhaps, but I would not bank on it, and I would not set your expectations, right, to be like that, because it really depends on the person. We can't change anybody. We can influence them through our own actions, but we can't tell people to do something unless we're hiring them, unless we're paying them. In a romantic relationship, in an intimate relationship, in a non-platonic relationship, it's difficult to kind of push your partner down a path. They are their own person and they have a lot of feelings and history with you. So you're kind of throwing all of that into the mix. And I know because I've had one before. I've had more than one relationship where, I've tried to change my partner and it just hasn't worked. The thing is, you're with someone who has a low self-esteem. That is unfortunately what you signed up for. And if you want to change them so that they're a confident person, one way of looking at it is to say, well, you're trying to change them. You change the person that you fell in love with. If they became, or they had a low self-esteem after you met them, and they were confident before and they were fine before, that's a totally different question. And to help you a little bit, I'd say, look, always, in any case, be supportive, be encouraging, okay? No one wants to be sabotaging themselves by just kind of name calling is like a really harsh, I don't know why I thought of that, but like that would be the worst thing you could do. So just even negative kind of body movements, like body language, or just kind of, maybe expressions that you've gotten used to saying around them, or of discontent or just frustration, those are going to sabotage the other person's ability to become confident, because they're going to look at that and say, they're not happy with me. Look, see, I couldn't do it. I'm just not good enough. You've got to learn to be able to be the supportive and encouraging person for your partner, even if they're frustrating you, even if they aren't kind of living up to the expectations that you have. You've got to be able to say, hey, look, you know what? You did a really good job, and I'm glad that you're giving it a good shot and you're putting the effort in. What I would do is, right, okay, maybe try this, maybe try that. Look what happened here. Maybe what we could do to avoid that is, let's just promise we're going to put a little bit of money to the side I don't know what it is that you're trying to do. I'm just showing you there's a kind of an approach that works really well for human beings, and that is to always be supportive and encouraging. If you are doing things for your partner that they can do for themselves, you're sabotaging their success. You're taking away their power to be more accountable, be more confident, be the person that they're trying to be. If your partner needs to speak to people to get information, if your partner needs to do something that's difficult that they've never done before, if they need to step out of their comfort zone to build their confidence, and you are going to say, okay, look, I know you're having trouble with this. I'm just going to take care of it myself. I'm going to step in here. I'm going to do it because I care for you, because I don't like seeing you like this. You're sabotaging them. And it's difficult, I know, because they might look at you. If you say, no, you're going to do it. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to touch it. You do it. They might look at you and they might mistake that for kind of, you're being a mean person. You don't care about me. You don't care about how I feel. But you have to be able to communicate to them and say, look, no. Actually, it's the opposite. I care about you. I really love you and I want the best for you. And the reason why I'm not going to do this for you, because I know I could and you know I could, but the reason why I'm not going to do it is because even though it pains me to see you go through this, I know that it's the only way. You taking action and doing these things yourself is the only way you're going to be able to get that personal power. I can't give it to you. I can't. And the more that I try to solve your problems, the more that I'm going to push you further into being having a low self-esteem. So do not do the things for the person that they can do for themselves. Very important point. I already mentioned reassessing your body and your verbal language, but that's also really important too. Don't kind of, every time something happens you don't enjoy, you don't like, don't just show them subconsciously. You have to be conscious about everything. This is the key to making sure that they feel that they can do something. You're the only one around them who's going to be able to share that energy. If you share the negative energy, you're going to take them out of that whole process. So, and finally, never break a promise. If you break a promise, integrity is so important. Someone with a low self-esteem, I don't know, it could translate to things like maybe they just don't care about me. Maybe I'm just not good enough. They need someone to rely on. They need someone to be there. They need a cushion, right, of emotional support. So just make sure you keep your promises and always have integrity. I hope that really helped. That was more like a freestyle Q&A. Maybe it's a bit more structured next time. If you like this, please comment below, let us know. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Cheers.